only the case where you are searching for rate. It is in case where you have already the BOQ rate. Let's say
Hmm.
brickworks. Okay, you have the brickwork or blockwork or floor tiling, whatever the rates available in the BOQ. But that rate, sometime you cannot continue with the same rate because it will fall. If it is fall under the 12.3A, which is varied rate, like the quantity increase and the amount is multiplied by the quantity and the rate is increased more than 0.01 percentage of the accepted contract, or change in the quantity. Remember, I have given the example. Sometime, yeah, change in the quantity will result the cost changes. Okay, so cost per unit, like transportation cost. So again, that should be satisfied. And specifically, finally, they mention this is not specified as a fixed rate item. Okay,
Okay. So
then
the
only you can
reason.
go for a varied rate. So
Okay. So
to
the
make it
reason.
again, yeah, make it again very precise to you. So this is the 12.3A talk about where already you have the rate, but you can go for a new rate still.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
advise to delete this clause in our contract?
Specifically, if you go for see red book, we are using for a measure and value, which is
Hmm.
originally measure and value, right? So if you are going for a measure and value, then to be careful with the 1, 2, 3, because measure and value quantity inserted by the consultant, right? Not the contractor. So if you say clause is applied, then your quantity is not a final quantity because basic reason you are going for a measure and value, except Saudi, okay? Saudi, I will come back again. Other countries where you are going for a measure and value, the quantities are not final, designs are not final. So, yes, you have to just put the indicative quantity. That's what in the 14.3, right? No, no, not 14.3, 14.1. Yeah, 14.1C says it is an indicative quantity, right? So it's very clearly say it's just rough quantities. If you are changing this to the lump sum contract, then A1 12.3 A1 2 3 is fine. You can go ahead because it is a fixed quantity. But if you want to continue with the measure and value contract, okay, then you have to amend this 1, 2, 3 because it is not the right sub clauses for them. You understood, no?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I will continue what I am trying to explain now. Just listen carefully. So look at this 14.3. Okay. The order of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, not going to happen here. You see A, B, D, C, E, F, D, or N, G. Do you understand the order is misaligned? Everybody can see, isn't it? See the 14.3 here. Yes. Can you all see? I think I have sent all of you my notes already. Yes. Correct. Okay, so it made you okay, so it made you okay, not in the order, and we want to try to understand this format. This is a format, but I'm going to drive this format. Okay. Okay, so now we will continue. I will start from here. So the last lecture we stopped with the first item. If you go, we go to the first item, then we go to the payment, and we study about the subclause 12, isn't it? Where we stop? Anyone can remember? I remember. I just asking you where we stopped last class. Not subclause 12.
Plus
12
12.
we already finished. 12 we already finished. Yes.
We stop at page
So
number 36. That is the subclause 12.3 and B, I think.
okay. Anyway, we have to continue with the subclause 14. Okay. So up to 12.3 varied work, right? And varied rate. Keep others mic mute, please. Okay, so varied work, varied rate, everything we study. Then we have to continue with the subclause 14. So we done with the subclause 12 completely. Okay, if you can remember. Right. So now we'll continue from the subclause 14. So all of you go to the subclause page number. What is the page number? 14. Yes. Unless otherwise stated in the particular condition. So remember, see here, unless otherwise stated in the particular condition. So particular condition become the more priority. The contract price shall be agreed or determined under subclause 12.3 evaluation and be subject to the adjustment in accordance with the contract. So it says, yes, according to 12.3, you can do the adjustment. So we learn about the A and B under that. The contractor shall pay all taxes, duties, and fees regard to be paid by him under the contract. Okay, ultimately, what is this meant by? Anyone? Is it going to be contractor pay from his own money for the all taxes and duties? What do you think? No, you need to include in the price, isn't it? And the contract price shall not be adjusted for any of these costs except as stated in subclause 13.7 adjustment for changes in legislation. Okay, so yes, adjustment in changes in legislation 13.7 we will discuss in the variation lecture because the subclause 13 under the variation. But anyhow, we will see a little bit about that. And the C 14.1 C say any quantities which may be set out. Okay, before the next one, 14.1b. Okay, not a very big subclause here. This is anything happen about the changes in legislation or changes in cost. If you go to the 13.3, sorry, 13.6, no, 13.7 and 8. 13.7 is adjustment for changes in legislation, and 13.8 changes for cost. That means cost inflation. Okay. So anything that happening, it will be part of the variation. Don't bring to the client. Some contract they don't allow for a changes in cost. If it is a fixed rate contract, then the contractor must price the risk for the risk cost inflation within the rate. Otherwise, it is applicable. So now 14.1c say any quantity which may be set out in the bill of quantity or other schedule are estimated quantity and are not to be taken as the actual and correct quantity. So do you remember? This is what I was saying. This is contradicting with the 12.3a.
But
Yes.
yeah, I just wanted
Maybe
about
you
to
are
say that it's contradicting with 12.3a. Yes.
yes. So can you note down there in pencil? Okay, next to the C, it is 12. It is contradict with 12.3a. Okay. Yes. So just have a note down. Of the works which the contractor is required to execute or for the purpose of clause 12 measurement and evaluation. Okay. There are nothing much to discuss, but all of you, since we are talking about the 14.1c, okay, it says of the works which the contractor required to execute for the purpose of clause 12 measurement and evaluation. Can you all go to the subclause 4.11? 4.11. Okay. It is another disaster for a contractor. Okay. Why we are talking about this? 4.11 sufficiency of the accepted contract amount. Carefully listen this, okay? 4.11 sufficiency of the accepted contract amount. Here it says the contractor shall deem to. All of you go to the page and read, okay? 4.11. Says the contractor shall deem to. Shall means obligation, right? Have satisfied himself as to the correctness of the and sufficiency of the accepted contract amount. Second, have based the accepted contract amount on the data, interpretation, necessary information, inspection, examination, and satisfaction as to all relevant matter. Okay, refer to subclause 4.10. Now it is connecting with the another subclause. Okay, we'll go and see what it is saying. Unless otherwise stated in the contract, the accepted contract amount covers all the contractor obligation. See, it's very carefully, okay, read it. Unless otherwise stated in the contract, the accepted contract amount cover all the contractor obligation under the contract, including those under provisional sum, if any, and all the things necessary for the proper execution and completion of the works and remedying any defects. Now, look at this subclause, okay. Note down here next to the 14.1c, these 2 point, okay. Okay, this is a risk placed on the contractor. Note down the wording 4.11. Check 4.11. Risk placed on the contractor. Why we have to check? Look, you already talked this approximate quantity, no? But when the contractor go and argue, no, this is approximate quantity, then consultant will argue with the 4.11. Look at this 4.11. We have clearly said it is your obligation that your prices cover everything. This is a place where the engineer, okay, consultant, if you are working for a consultant, okay, this is a strong place for you. Mr. Contractor, you supposed to look at the 4.11 and price everything. Right. Yes or no? But whereas if you are working for a contractor, this is a very difficult point for you. Yes. This is a risky for you. How you can make sure if it is a remeasurable contract, all the things. So, or if the some something is part of the engineer or employer responsibility, okay, you can't take such a responsibility. So just note down. And further it says, okay, in the subclause 4.11 b, it's connecting with the 4.10 site data. Okay, site data. What is the site data here? Look at the page number 15. It's talk about, okay, everything about the site condition, contractor, okay, make sure everything is okay, understand. Now the problematic, we will discuss this subclause in a different area, but the 4.1, okay, look at the a nature of the site, okay, and hydrological and climatic condition b. C, extent and the nature of the work and good necessary. D, laws, right, and the E talk about contractor agreement for access, accommodation, facilities, personnel. So you see that one. It's putting more risk on the contractor, right? About the pricing. So therefore, you have to be careful about these subclauses where it's connected. Okay. So another thing is this data. Contractor must protect all the data. So it's part of the risk. Have you all note down that one? Yes. Nobody answering. What happened? Have you all noted down? But I want in the 14.1, note down the subclause 4.11. If you note down the 4.11, automatically it will connect to the 4.10. Yes. It's a risky. Yeah,
So I
that's
have
what I
to
said.
note, sorry, sir. I have to note 4.11 against 14.1.
No, you just mark it in the 14.1C next to 1, 2. Okay, this 1, 2. You just mark check 4.11. Okay, risk on the contractor. You just mark it. So in the future, if you study, you will understand, okay, what is the problem here. Yes. Okay, then let's continue. The contract price and the payment. So let's talk about the continuation. The D, the contractor shall submit to the engineer its obligation within 28 days after commencement date. The proposed, it's another problematic area. Okay. Proposed breakdown of each lump sum price. Don't read further. Okay. Stop there. Contractor shall submit to the engineer within 28 days after the commencement date a proposed breakdown of each lump sum price. Now, originally, Messer and Value contract talk about the lump sum price. Sometimes no, isn't it? But there are sometime possibly, okay, you might give some price as a lump sum, maybe. But originally, this is not a lump sum. It's a remeasurable. Okay, let's say you change this this sub clause for a lump sum contract, then 14.1D is okay, is acceptable. But if it is a purely remeasurable contract where there's no lump sum, then this is not applicable sub clause. Do you understand? The sub clause not applied for a measure and value where the rate breakdown. Look at this. This is another problem. It says, okay, if you have the lump sum price in the schedule, okay, in the schedule, the engineer may take account of the breakdown when preparing the payment certificate, but shall not be bound by it. So do you understand? He is not bound by your breakdown. Then what is the objective of giving this breakdown? You will understand what I am saying here. So it is something putting some responsibility. See, contractor generally don't want to show his breakdown. But it is a you have to give within 28 days from the commencement date. But they are not bound by that. This is a this is a kind of a sub clauses where the contractor has some problem practically. Okay. And another thing is be aware this is a measure and value contract purely. Okay, so let's go back. Um, okay, let's go back to our form. So what we understood now, okay, we understood about the value of the work done, including preliminaries, variation, day works, and provision. Okay, so now let's go to the FIDIC where we are stopping. So we understood the A. Now the B. What is a B? Any amount to be added or deducted for changes in legislation or changes in cost in accordance with the 13.7 or 13.8. Okay, so now you have to understand. It says any amount to be added or deducted. Do you understand what is the meaning of sometimes changes in legislation? Or okay, let's say some law implied newly where they are reducing the taxes or some charges, right? In that case, the contract price will go minus, mean it will reduce. So that mean a deduction will happen. Whereas, okay, new tax introduced where the prices are increased, the contract price will go up. So that is adding. So same thing can happen. Changes in cost mean price fluctuation. Price fluctuation mean changes in the pricing levels. What do you mean? Changes in the pricing level. That means price levels. Levels mean can go up or down. So that's the reason they put plus or minus. That means added or deducted. Okay. So if you go to the form, okay, it is right after the A. So its order is correct. That's okay. So changes in legislation and changes in cost. So let us see the subclause what it says. Now let's go to the changes in legislation. So changes in legislation, okay, that's and the cost we are going to discuss. So here, what it is going to be happen, the contract, all of you go to the 13.7. Okay, what's the page number? Two and 39. Okay, so uh, all of you just look at the subclause. But it is the subclause particularly talk. If the contractor suffers, okay, that's the things. The contract price shall be adjusted to take account of any increase or decrease in the cost resulting from change in the laws of the country, including the introduction of new laws or repeal or modification of existing laws, or in the judicial or official governmental interpretation of such laws made after the base date. So made after the base date. What does the base date mean? You know this definition by heart right now. What is the base date definition?
28 days before the tender submission date.
Yeah, 28 days prior to the submission date of the tender. Yes, very good. That is a base date. So anything happen after the base date, okay, you have eligible for this changes in legislation. So which affect the contractor in performance of obligation under the contract. If the contractor suffers or will suffer, that you have to understand. If the contractor suffer mean he already started to face the challenges, or he is expecting he will face the challenges. So delay and or incurs or will incur additional cost as a result of these changes in the laws or such interpretation made after the base date, the contractor shall give notice to the engineer and shall be entitled subject to subclause 20.1 contract decline. Okay. So this subclause you already know, and I ask you this question: what is the base date? So you people know what's the base date. Okay, so you must know by heart. Okay. So now let's talk about the subclause 13.7. It is coming under the variation, isn't it? If you go and see the main heading of the 13, what's the main heading of the 13? Variation, right? And adjustment. So it's supposed to be under the variation, but it says, okay, you can go for a contract claim. Okay, let us understand what is the problem here in this subclause. It's supposed to be under the variation, isn't it? Rather than say claims. Do you agree with me? Because it's already under the main heading of 13, subclause 13. But okay, anyhow, the FIDIC mention we go for a claim. But it is not again sufficient. The information here not sufficient. Why? Let's see. You say the contract price shall be okay adjusted to take account of any increase or decrease, right? Now, who is very interested if the cost increase to claim the money? Who is interested? Contractor, isn't it? He need to get the money because otherwise he will lose the profit. Now, what about decrease? Who is interested when the contract price decreased? Employer, definitely. So now what I'm trying to say, do you understand here? Anyone guess what I'm trying to say here? Okay, talk about 20.1, isn't it? What's supposed to be another subclause to be added here? What is the
Determination
subclause
and
number?
evaluation.
No. No, what is another subclause? Employee claim, very good. Subclause 2.5 also needed. Say if this is a contractor claim or employee claim, then the engineer determination will follow 3.5. Right. So now you have to note that there may be a okay. There may be a circumstance, right? Either one party can go for a claims. It's not just always the contractor, because the contractor, if it is degrees, he don't care. Okay, why should I raise the claim for degrees? Right. It's the employer duty. Let him to do. I don't have any problem if it is degrees. So then the engineer, consultant, okay, you need to take the action against this. Okay. So can you mark that point? You mark that, okay, if it is a degrees, then employer claim will come. So 2.5 and 3. Engineer determination also needed. Okay, have you all done? So mark 2.5, then if it is claims come, okay, 20.1 or 2.5 come, then 3.5 will follow, because it will be a determination by the engineer. Okay, so this is all about 13.7, but I say you supposed to call it as a claim, you supposed to take it as a variation, but anyhow, Raffman of the FIDIC, okay, they put as a claim. Now, base state we already discussed, so I will just give some more idea about that one. Now, when you issue the tender document, right, you have the submission of the tender document, that's called tendering period, right? So tender period. So what is the base date mean? The date 28 days prior to the tender submission. That is called base date. Okay, so it is just for information. Yeah. Okay, well, somebody trying to talk. I can hear you. Can you repeat? Can you repeat? Somebody asking the questions.
Mr. Munoz, I have one question.
Yeah.
This according to 13.7, the contractor's claim is disabled. So it means not contractor, the employer claim is disabled. So employer can't go for the claim.
He can go. That is missing here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is missing now. It's already missing. So it means he can't go, no?
He can go. It's right. No, if it is, see what I'm trying to say. The FIDIC craftsman sometime forget this situation. Okay, he has a two mentalities over the FIDIC. One is he is sometimes assuming, because it's not done by the one person, right? This FIDIC is not drafted by the one person. It's a panel. So within the panel, some members had a mentality of the measure value. So they draft according to the measure value. Some members had a mentality of the lump sum. So they drafted as a lump sum. So this is made a little bit complex within the documents. Okay, this is one. And second thing, many of the subclauses, it's a very heavy point, okay? The many of the subclauses we will find, okay, like say, at least it says contractor claim, isn't it? 13 points say contractor claim. But it is actually even the employer claims. Plus, there are another fold of the subclause. Like there are some, let's say 50 subclauses talk about the contractor claim or employer claim, which is straight away the wording is there, either 2.5 or 20.1. But there are another fold of the subclauses where none of them mention, doesn't mention even about the claims. Have you okay? Note down some places I have talked about the subclause. It is part of the claim, but nowhere mentioned. Have you all remember such subclauses? Anyone? There are more than 50 subclauses. Okay. available? Yes or no? Have you all noted down some few? Yes. Okay. So is it clear to you now what I am saying?
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is based on the FIDIC. Now let's go to the 13.8 adjustment for changes in cost. Okay. So what do you mean by price fluctuation? I told you changes in the price level. Okay. It can go. Yes. Again, it is part of the variation. But we had. So construction cost, time to time, it can go high or low. So it depend on the scenario. Okay. The contractor need to get compensation for these price changes. Maybe if it is go high, then okay, it is contractor interested part. If it is go down, then it is employer interested part. Okay. Okay. So now the question, sometime changes in cost, that means the price fluctuation, not allowed in the contract. Okay. So if you see any wording like fixed price contract or fixed lump sum contract, the fixed price means it's a measure and value contract. Okay. Fixed lump sum contract is a lump sum contract, fixed price lump sum contract. If you say such a wording fixed, can we go for a 13.8? What do you think? Straight away, no. It says clearly no. Okay. So in general, okay, no adjustment made for a changes in cost. Okay. Where the duration 1 year or less in general. Okay. Small duration contract. Also, do you see any sub clauses talk about the changes in price in Gulf contract mostly? 90% you don't see, isn't it? There's no such a allowance given. So that's for your information. Okay. And there are formulas, everything given down. Don't care about much because it is less applicable sub clause in the practice. Okay. So, but if it is allowed in the contract, okay, you go for it. But again, 13.8. Okay. If you go through with the entire sub clause, just do a scanning. Have you seen any contractor claim here? There's a formula, right? There's a formula. This formula is straight. You'll talk this formula under the variation, but there's no claims. It's straight away they talk about this price. Similarly, that's what I said in the 13.7 also we supposed to do the same process. Okay, as a variation. So if you talk to our format, this is also in order, same order like A, B, and we can do it. So once you are going to prepare the interim payment application, okay, so you can go for a first you have to do the value of the work done, then you do the check for a variation and the day work and the provision sum. Then you have the provision to add the changes in cost and changes in legislation. Now I am going to talk to you some scenario. Yes.
Yeah, regarding 13.8, it's mentioned that if in the subclause table of adjustment data means the table of adjustment data included in the appendix should enter. If that is not applicable, then this subclause will not be applied. So what is the content for that table for adjustment data? Can anyone predict what should be
indices. It's called cost indices. They have to give the cost indices. Sometimes some countries or some places they have this data available, but regardless they have given the data or not. If it is mentioned as a fixed price contract, either lump sum or measure and value, then the 13.8 will not come.
Yeah, and all of the contracts are fixed price. We know that, but just
Mostly, yes.
yeah, but
Okay.
just a question because I never saw this table of adjustment.
It's a price cost indices, we can say. Consultant, they do the cost indices. There are some organizations, some governmental organization also, they monitor the cost. In Sri Lanka, yes, we have the institution called ICTAT. Okay, yeah. In India, I think Reserve Bank doing. Okay, likewise, they are as a cost indices. This is giving the historical changes. Okay, and in the the highlighting the prediction how it's going to be for upcoming projects. Likewise, you can, if you are an estimator, you might have this kind of indices, because you might based on those indices you will price your tender. Let's say your project going to be 2 or 3 years, then you have to have some kind of prediction. Let's say uh, the prices will go high or down. Mostly we can say construction price go up, sometime down, very less chance. So we can see historically how it is changing. There's a graph, isn't it? Now think about the cement price like a 10 years back and right now. Okay, definitely that price is high. You understand? So that is the thing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Okay. So you look at this is in the order, but I have to tell you some scenarios here where you have to be very careful about. Let's talk about the scenario number one. Okay, you don't have scenario 1, 2, 3 anywhere in the notes, but if you can note down what I'm saying. Scenario number one about 13.7. So yeah, if a changes in legislation result or will result only the contract price, okay, change like increase or decrease, okay, due to the changes in legislation, okay, then we can keep them within this area only. That means the segment, we can say the first segment of the IPA or IPC, okay, we can keep in the same place because only the cost changes. Okay, this is segment one. All of you got the note? Have you all printed? Yes or no? Okay, if you don't print, okay, page number 4, 14.3, what is that? 13.7, 13.7, scenario 1, note down. Okay, what I am saying here, if the changes in legislation only, okay, hitting the price changes, then it will be here only. No need to worry about that. It will be here only. Only the changes. Now, scenario number 2, what will happen if the changes in legislation, I don't talk about the claims, okay, I'm talking about the 13.7 here. If a changes in legislation, okay, resulted or will result delay, okay, without any impact of previously the scenario 1, no impact on the delay, only the price is changing. But here in the scenario 2, the changes in legislation resulting or will result, okay, delay, then the extension of time and prolongation cost will be claimed under the 14.3, that is claims. So that means, okay, look at this, there are two segments coming. One is you are going to claim because of the changes in legislation cost, okay, went up or down. That is one claim that you are going to put under the 14.3. But because of this, even the project got delayed, that won't come under the 13.7. That should become under the 14.3, which is claims. So just mention scenario 2. If that changes in legislation, let's say CIL, okay, impact, okay, cost plus time, then this will be in a two segment. One is cost will be here under the segment 14.3b, and the prolongation claim, that cost and the time impact will come here under the 14.3f. Can you note down? Guys, you forgot, okay, what is scenario 1 and 2? Do you all understand what I'm saying here? Yes. Okay. But slowly we will go to the complex area of this IPA. Okay. Okay, shall I move on? The third scenario I am going to give you. The third scenario, if a changes in legislation result or will result both in the contract price. Okay, that means the increase or decrease and delay in the completion. Right. Okay. Sorry. Second scenario, actually third scenario, I supposed to say. The third scenario is the one you change it, okay? The previously, because I told that impacting the cost and the time, right? That is third scenario. Second scenario, only the impacting the time, not the cost. Okay, only the impacting the time, not the cost. Then it will be only under the claim, not will come under the change segment 1. Okay, just mark it. Okay, the second scenario I told, change it as a 3 because that is impacting cost and the time. Whereas the second here, the second scenario here, it's only for a time. Let's say this is not impact the cost of the material or something, but it is delaying the project because of the changes in legislation, like what we can say, any laws introduction happen. Let's talk about the law introduced in Oman back in, I think, a few years back. They said, okay, working days is 5 days only. So the people plan the project for 6 working days. Automatically, the daily, weekly 1 days will be delay, and monthly is going to be 4 days. Just I'm telling. So if it is a 5 or 6 month, around 24 days, okay, going to be delay, like approximately 1 month. So here there's no problem with the contract price. Contract price is remain as it is, but problem there's going to be a delay in the project because of changes in legislation. So this will not come under the 14.3b, okay, under the segment, okay, 13.7. It will come under the 14.3 because it's a claim. Okay, so just mark it all. But if you talk about the FIDIC don't talk about this kind of detail, isn't it? They don't address this kind of scenario 1, 2, 3. Okay, so is it clear, all of you? We'll repeat. Scenario 1, only the changes in legislation impacting the cost. Scenario 2, it's impacting the time, therefore we have the claim. So we can't put it in the segment 1. Scenario 3, it have the both impact, time and the materials or project prices are going up or down. Okay, so is it clear? Yes. Okay. Okay. So we'll continue here. This is the first segment of the interim payment application or certification. Do you understand? There are 2 parts here. So this is the first segment. So what we call here the first item 14.3. Okay, there's a item A, actual work of work according to the contract. Second, under the B, you are going to include the variation, day work, and the provision sum. So it's A plus B. Then in the second segment, we are going to have adjustment for changes in legislation. We can say C. It could be plus or minus. And the adjustment for changes in cost. Okay, it could be also plus or minus. So that is D. So C plus D. So the first segment will come A plus B plus C plus D. So we can call them in short E. Okay, is that clear for all of you? You need to apply them in your real project. That's what I want to make sure you are very clear with that. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go to the FIDIC again. Okay, so third one, what FIDIC talk, okay, it's different, but we are going to talk here. Okay, so I will go to the third one about the retention. Okay, so retention. Do you all remember we had a discussion about the retention? Anyone recall it? Yes or no? Yes. We had a lecture under when? Which subject? We had a discussion under which topic? Name the title of the topic.
Bond, construction bond.
Yes, bond. Okay, so we discuss about the retention. Anyway, the people don't study about the retention. Don't worry, it will come again. So any amount to be deducted for retention. So what the subclause talk here? Okay, retention. See, there's a gap here, isn't it? It's not in order. That's why it's coming like this. So yes, retention. Okay, we are taking the retention on top of the E. Okay, E is the place we are applying the retention. So if you go and see the subclause 14.3, okay, you know this page number. Okay, okay, go to the subclause in physical copy 42. Let's read it. Any amount to be deducted for retention, okay, calculated by applying the percentage of retention stated in the appendix to tender to the total of the above amount. So above amount mean A and B. Do you understand? It's a total of the above amount until the amount so retained by the employer reaches the limit of retention, if any, stated in the appendix to tender. This is in page number 42. All of you go and understand why this formula, okay, we are taking on E. Less retention on E. Why we are taking? It says in the 14.3C, okay, if you want to highlight that word, any amount to be deducted for retention calculated by applying the percentage of retention is stated in the appendix to tender to the total of the above amounts. So the above mean what? A and B. Do you understand how this formula derived? Confirm me, everybody. So we have the retention. Now we discuss about the retention under the bond lecture. Anyone not yet covered, don't worry, we will discuss it in detail. But in simple, okay, you have to apply the retention amount on the A plus B plus C plus D. That means on E, because that is A plus B on, that means 14.3 A and B. Okay, so that's the things mentioned in the C. Okay, so now you should understand one thing about the retention. Okay, now when you talk about the release on retention, now there are less retention mean you are going to deduct the amount from the certification, right? So you calculate this amount and you are going to apply 5%. Okay, 5%. This percentage subject to vary, but in the FIDIC it say 5%. So you are going to apply that on the E. So that's minus value because you are deducting. Okay, whereas the release of retention, now you should understand the release of retention will not be applicable during the interim payment certification. This will come at statement and completion and final account. Okay, then only you can talk about the release of retention. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, it won't come in the normal interim payment application or certification. So therefore, sometime what happened, okay, if the contractor want to release all the retention the employer going to hold, okay, then if they mutually agree, because sometimes the contractor cash flow not good, he needs some money, so employer want to help, then they can release this early, but it should be agreed mutually, otherwise not possible to release early. Okay, do you understand? Why claim is not subject to retention? No, that they said very clearly. You take the according to 14.3. Okay, see, it says you consider only A and B. That's what we stick with that contract. If your contract say apply on all the amount, then you have to apply on the whole amount. So we are trying to trigger the format that predict 1999 says. Do you understand? It doesn't say original contract price. Okay. Original contract price means changes in legislation or cost will not come. It will come only the agreed contract sum.
Yeah, Mr. Munas, this is the typical format, but usually we are doing something else, you know. Sometimes we are taking advance payment against the effective contract amount. Sometimes we are getting some release of retention money on the client supplied items. So we are releasing that also.
Yes, depending on your contract, it might vary. But what we are trying to understand here, purely what our FIDIC 1999 Red Book says. Based on this understanding, you can, you can again go through with
Adjust
the
according to
subclause
your
like,
contract.
you can go through your contract and you can trigger the format or you can agree the format.
Okay.
Here, unfortunately, we don't have this format, isn't it? So we are trying to trigger this format slowly. So now, up to now, we came up to 14.3C. Okay, so any question on this one? Anyone, everybody understood how this formula calculated? Yes? Okay. If any question, ask me, okay? Don't worry, because slowly we are going to move a difficult part.
Sorry, Mr. Munas, one question.
Yes.
The previous
Yes.
slide, there is a retention of the less retention 10% of E or maximum 5% of original contract. Why there is a different percentage mentioned?
Okay, you should understand the contract. We are going to apply 5% retention. Mean, okay, if you are having the 100 million project value, okay, the accepted contract amount, then you are going to apply 5% on them. That means how much million you are going to claim through the retention?
5 million.
5 million. Okay, but if you are claiming the 5 million 5% every interim payment application, then you have to wait until it reach 100 million. Then only you can reach the 5 million, right?
Yes.
So what you do through the interim payment application, you have the amortization rate is high, recovery rate is high. That means 10% you are going to claim. So in the half of the project, you already get the 5%.
Yeah.
That's the reason. So the amortization rate will be 10%, where you once you reach the 5% of the contract sum, you don't claim more.
Okay. Understood.
Like advance payment, let's say advance payment, if you give 10% of the contract sum, let's say, then you are going to recover 25% per month from the every interim payment. So you will recover it quickly.
Okay.
So that's called amortization rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, that will be discussed again under the bond lecture, in case you people not covered. Yes, they make it complicated. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. The D, okay, we will look at the D later. Now let's go to the E. Any amount to be added and deducted for plant and material in accordance with the subclause 14.5. Okay, so plant and material intended for the works. So if you go here, okay, the plant and material we are going to discuss. So plant and material, subclause 14.5. Okay, so all of you go to the subclause 14.5. Page number. Okay, so sometime we call known as, okay, in the industry we call something like material on site or off site. So on site means the material at site, or off site means somewhere outside the site where maybe it's on the way or in the fact such a long lead item. So 14.5 say if this subclause applies, interim payment certificate shall include under subparagraph of E 14.3 the amount for plant and material, okay, which have been sent to the site for incorporation in the permanent work, and Second, reduction when the contract value of such plant and material is included as a part of the permanent work under the paragraph A. Okay, subclause 14.3 application for interim payment certificate. What did it say? This is not connected with any subclause under the payment. Okay, it's independent subclause. Sometime if the material on site or off site not applicable, then this subclause no longer going to work for you. Do you understand? This is not going to be applied. So in the second paragraph, it says, okay, if the appendix to tender does not mention the MOAs, that means material on site or off site, can contractor claim for a material on site or off site? Obviously, answer no, isn't it? That's clearly says in the paragraph 2. If the list referred to subparagraph B1 or C1 below are not included in the appendix to tender, this subclause shall not apply. That will mean you can't use this subclause anymore. This is a very independent subclause. Why this subclause introduced? Objective is contractor spending a lot of money to buy the material, isn't it? So he will go sometime financially, okay, kind of a hardened situation. So to comfort him, the client paying some amount for them for the material on site or off site. Some contract you don't find the subclause. It's fine. But some contract you will find the subclause. Okay, it's also fine. Some contract what happened, material on site or off site not there, then the subclause won't apply. But during the project execution time, the contractor will go and beg from the employer, I want the material on site. Then they will agree. If they mutually agree, they will follow a supplementary agreement and they can implement it. Okay. Otherwise, no, we can't insist the contractor or employer if that not applied in the contract. So yes, if the appendix to tender does not mention the material on site, can contractor claim? No. Why? Now let us understand 14.5 subclause are not there. In the particular condition of contract, you didn't say this subclause not applied. So can we now answer me? I will repeat the question. In your contract, 14.5 is there. In the particular condition of contract, okay, you didn't say anything like this subclause shall not apply. That means, can we enforce this subclause or not?
As per the priority, the general condition will apply.
Yeah. So as per the priority general condition or particular condition?
A particular condition will apply. First priority is particular condition, but it is not mentioned in the particular condition. So the general condition will apply.
Okay. That means we can go ahead. No issue, right? Because it is already there and the particular condition say no. Didn't say no. So we can go for it. But the problem will come, okay, material on site. What kind of material you are going to pay for it? Are you going to pay for a nut and bolt, small miscellaneous item? You should agree the particular list, no? Otherwise, contractor will come and claim everything, right? He will come and claim material on site like a nail, small item. Do you understand what I am saying here? That's what it say. You should have the list. You should have the agreed list. Otherwise, how consultant? Consultant cannot certify all the material you have brought to the site. You should have a list of material that you should agree. That's what it says. If the list are not there in the appendix tender, then this cannot be applied. This is not a workable subclause. Do you understand? So that's the reason. Okay, you can't. So answer is no. But contractually, yes, you can implement. But since you don't have the list, okay, you don't know how to make it. So unless otherwise, you have to agree through the supplementary. Okay. So what are the
You are
other
saying
circumstances? Go ahead.
if its list is not there, we cannot apply. That's what.
That's what, yes. Because how you are going to, which item you are going to pay material on site or off site?
Okay.
Right. Practically, that is not workable. No, he will come and ask you all the item in the site. That is not our intention. Yes.
Okay.
That practicality, no, you
But
can't.
yeah, maximum things on site based on mutual agreement only, even if it is in FIDIC or not in FIDIC.
Hmm. So yeah, that should, you have to have the list. Otherwise, practically, as a contract administrator, if you are a consultant, okay, he will come and ask you so many miscellaneous items. That is not the time you are going to waste, because if you are going to inspect the material and you have to, there are conditions, we are going to check them, okay, right now. So those conditions apply. So it's going to be hard for you. Hard as a contractor. You also, if you are a QS under the contractor, what item you are going to claim? It's going to be difficult. Okay. So that's the thing. Practically, you have to have the list. So what are the other circumstances? The contractor is not entitled for a material on site. What do you think?
If contractor delay the work or not in quality work or not satisfying the client, consultant, like this.
Okay, that is not the answer. Okay, so just carefully go ahead. I'm going to give you the different answer. If you go to the subclause 14.4, okay, it's a different direction. Go to the subclause 14.4. You try to understand. If the contract, okay, it's a schedule of payment, right? It is a schedule of payment. So if the contract includes schedule of payment, specifying the installment in which the contract price will be paid, then unless otherwise stated in this schedule, okay, the A, okay, leave it. That's not our focal point. The B, subclause 14.5, plant and material intended for the work shall not apply. Do you understand? You got the point? Okay, this is not down, okay? If you want. Okay, schedule of payment. Now, you know what is the schedule of rate, right? Schedule of payment, is it same? Schedule of payment, schedule of rate, is it same? I discussed this question under the type of contract at the last slide. Anybody remember? I said, okay, schedule of rate for this type of contract. Schedule of work, SOW, SOR. Okay. Do you remember that discussion? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. It's very important discussion, okay? That's what I said. You should forget. Now, if you want, I am going to have the special classes for new batches that recently taken for 28 and the 29 coming Sunday. Not down, okay? Coming Sunday, type of contract. I will not invite you because if you are not a part of that batch, but if you want to attend them, okay, you can ask me 1 hour before the meeting link. I will send you the meeting link. You can re-attend it. It's okay. You are welcome. Do you all understand what I'm saying now? If you want to attend the type of contract again, request for a meeting link by this coming Sunday. You know what is the date, isn't it? On 13th. Okay. You have to request if you want to attend. If you are a 28, 29, I will send myself the invitation. Otherwise, if you want to re-attend, it's up. So be careful. That wording is schedule of payment. It is for a lump sum contract, not down if you want. under the 14.4, schedule of payment is a lump sum in lump sum contract. Note down. Yeah, you might understand. Later, you might not get confused. In the lump sum contract, okay, if you have schedule of payment, then you can't apply for a material on site for that kind of works. Okay, ultimately, it's trying to give the hint for you. Okay, for a lump sum contract, don't pay the material on site. This is what this FIDIC trying to say. So if you change this measure and value contract for a lump sum contract, what do you think the 14 point, according to the 14.4, this is already lump sum. So 14.5 will be applied. What do you think? That is the question. You heard it. Anyhow, if the both party agree, that's different issue. Otherwise, no. Okay, so mutual agreement will overturn the previous agreement. So therefore, is what are the other circumstances the contractor is not entitled for MOS? Can you note down the answer for this? Because no, yeah. So what is the answer? What is the subclause number? 14.4 B. Okay. Do you understand? 14.4 B is the answer. Okay. Now we have to understand this about the subclause. Okay, there are two scenarios: material on site and the off site. So if you are an engineer, how do you certify the payment for a material off site? Okay, so let's start from the material off site. So according to the subclause 14.5A, go to the page number 43. This 43A is common for both. Okay, either material on site or off site. This subclause 14.5A is a common for all of them. The contractor has kept satisfactory records. Now, do you understand? No records, no payment, right? So you have to have the records such as now they say, including the order, received, cost, and the use of the plant and material where you are going to use, which is are available for inspection. If you are a consultant, without record, are you going to certify? What do you think? So if you are a contractor, you submit the document without the any documents. Okay. Do you think you will get money from the consultant? Will not certify you. So carefully you have to keep the record. That is applicable for material on site or off site. Okay. Then submitted a statement of cost. Statement of cost of acquiring and delivering the plant and material to the site supported by satisfactory evidence. Again, it's a record. Now we'll go to the B, which is material offsite. Note down the heading for that one. We write down the heading for B, material offsite. For a you note down for a C. For a C, material on site. Can you title the subclause name for you? Easy. Can you note down? Okay, note down B, material offsite.
Can you
And
please
C,
repeat again?
give the title for a 14.5 B, material offsite. Okay, this is a heading for a material offsite. The C 14.5 C talk about the material on site. Can you note down that? Because it's a material off site. Okay, so you note down the title. The relevant plant and material are listed in the appendix to tender for payment. Now, before you pay them, you make sure whether they are listed material or not. If it is not in the list, can you pay them? That's what I said. If there's a no list, 14.5 cannot be applied. The list is very important. Say list is not there, still client want to pay them, then you have to agree a list through a supplementary agreement. So first you have to check whether the contractor claiming the material which is approved material to be claimed for a material offsite. Do you understand? Okay, so are those listed in the appendix tender for payment when shipped? Okay, then have been shipped to the country en route to the site in accordance with the contract. So proof of the shipment, you should have it. Are described in a clean shipped bill of lading. Okay, that proof of shipment or evidence, we can say, which has been submitted to the engineer together with the evidence of the payment of freight and insurance and other documents reasonably required. And bank guarantee. What do you mean by bank guarantee? You all remember this subclause somewhere we touched before. Anyone remember? Offside bond, yes, bond, under the bond. Very good. So the people don't study, don't worry, we'll again study. So only we touch this subclause. I told you, okay, if you are going to, why this bond? Because anything happen to the material, if it is not reach the site, then the employer can recover the cost from the bank guarantee. The bank guarantee in a form and issued by an entity approved by the employer, an amount and the currency is equal to the amount due under the subclause. This guarantee may be in a similar form to the form referred to subclause 14.2 advance payment and shall be valid until the plant and materials are properly stored on site and protected against the loss or damage or deterioration. That means once the material came to the site, then this bond is gone. Okay. So this is a material off-site. Now, if you are an engineer, how do you certify the material on site? Okay, so this subclause 14.5 A is a common. I told you already, it's a common for a material on site and off site. So we don't want to repeat the A. Let's go to the C. The relevant plant and the materials are those listed in the appendix to tender for payment when delivered to the site and have been delivered and properly stored on the site. That means delivered and stored properly. Are protected against loss, damage, or deterioration and appear to be accordant with the contract. What do you mean by appear to be accordance with the contract? What do you think?
Specification are met.
Yes, specification, quality, right? Everything. That's the important point. Okay. So what is FIDIC allowance for material on site? So how much we can pay? Are we going to pay all the amount he incurred? It's the answer here. Okay. Yes. So be
80%.
careful. No, 80% on what? So that's what you listen carefully. This is so many people you do the mistake. Okay. So let us understand what you do as a consultant or what you do as a contractor when you are climbing. The additional amount to be certified shall be the equivalent of 80% of the engineer determination of the cost of the plant and material. 80% of the cost of the plant and material, including delivery to the site, taking account of the document mentioned in the subclause and of the contract value of the plant and material. Now, this is a place you will mess up, I know. Now, I will put the question, then you understand what is the problem here. Okay. Let's say, okay, contractor claiming, okay, 100, let's say. How much you will pay according to this subclause? How much you will
80.
pay? 80, right? So you are going to pay if you climb high in the 80. Okay, this is not the case. This is not the case. Okay, we have to be careful. You are doing consultant. Sometime yes, it is okay. Sometime no. Don't say 60% because it say 80%. Mention no. Otherwise, you change this contract in your contract 60. That's fine. So let's stick with our FIDIC. Now your bespoke may be different percentage. That's I don't know. So look at this. Now he's climbing 100. Okay, you are going to pay 80 according to this subclause, right? That is not sometime correct. Because taking account of the document mentioned in the subclause and the contract value, this is the place you want to be very careful. It's so tricky. Now let's say you have the BOQ. Okay, there's a amount given for the material. This is a complete material for installation. You pay, he bring 100, okay, with the cost of 100, and you pay 80. But in a BOQ, you see the material price, okay, in the BOQ. Maybe there are some contract, you don't have the breakdown like a material, how much labor, how much supply, how much, they don't have such breakdown. Okay, if that breakdown is available, check that breakdown how much. Let's say in the breakdown it says, okay, in the breakdown of the cost, it's, let's say 60, will you pay 80? Do you understand? No. Now the problem is different here. Look at, his allocated budget is 60 and he spent 100. That is price inflated. Maybe he didn't do a proper estimation. You are not bound to that. You put the 80% on this. Do you understand? Not on this. If that's the case. So look at, now there are another scenario. Some people don't have the breakdown of the material allocation for that task. Then you must have the engineer estimation, right? You must have the engineer estimation, mean approximately you know the value. Yes or no? As engineer, you have the pretender estimate. Or ask the breakdown. If you apply, say, if you are agreeing the list of the material, okay, you ask the breakdown of the prices from the contractor. Why you want it all according to the 14.5C, this subclause? I want to determine how much your contract value for this item. Because I can't rely on the invoice value. Maybe, see, your BOQ price itself 100, including material and all the supply installation. He's just claiming the 100 and you pay 80, mean it is something you are paying overpayment. So do you understand the sensible issue here? Not 80% always what he's claiming, 80% of sometime contract value. Is it clear? Oh, anybody have any less idea? Yes or no? Clear.
Yeah, or we can mutually agree some percentage breakdown, rate breakdown.
That's what I
Based on
said.
that,
Yeah.
we can pay.
If you are having the MOS, that means 14.5 is applicable in your contract, check the list. For the list, against the list, we ask the breakdown of the item. That's it. Right. So that's how you do the certification. Okay. So be careful if you work for a consultant, you never do this exercise. Take my advice. This is how it works. Okay. So according to the subclause 14, okay, point 3E, amount to be added or deducted for plant and material when it is applicable. Okay. Okay. An amount of plant and material have been sent to the site for incorporation in the permanent work. That time you are paying him. Now, okay, next interim payment application, that material already used. So you don't keep them in the IPA. Then you check the new one. So the reduction when the contract value of such plant and materials include as a part of the permanent work. Okay, that means simple. Don't get complicated. Okay, if he's claiming the material on site, you pay one time. Next time, do you going to add the same amount in the interim payment application? Check how much is used. So that will be already paid under the permanent work, isn't it? So you can't pay that amount which is already used under the permanent work. So you just deduct that amount. Okay, I will make it a little bit more simple for all of you. Okay, he is claiming the 100. Let's say the one you certified value, not the claim value. Certified value is 100. Now out of 100, okay, 50% value material. That means 50 is already okay used. Only 50 is remaining. Now how much you are going to keep in the next payment certification? You are going to keep this amount only, right? Reduction because it already is part of the permanent work. It's already used. Okay. What about the excess material which is no longer needed for a project? He brought some extra material which is no longer needed. He overpaid or he bring the very excess material. You don't pay them. You must know how much the quantity is needed. So material on site or off-site certification not an easy task. Be sensible. Maybe you will end up paying over. But anyhow, you can get the adjustment at the last, but it's tricky for you. Yes. Some reference sub clauses regarding the material on site. Can we have another some discussion for some time? For another 10-15 minutes. I don't know how many slides for this. Okay, so sub clause 4.16. All of you go to that. Okay. Unless otherwise stated in the particular condition. Page number 18. The contractor shall give engineer not less than 21 days notice of the date on which plant or major item of the goods will be delivered to the site. It's your obligation. Okay. So it is one of your obligation. The contractor shall be responsible for packing, loading, transporting, receiving, unloading, storing, and protecting all goods and other things required for the work. That means you have to price all of them within the rate. You can't ask separate money. Contractor shall indemnify and hold the employee harmless against and from all damages, losses, and expenses, including legal fees and expenses resulting from the transport of the goods, and shall negotiate and pay all claims arising from their transport. Now, let's say you are transporting the paint. Okay, unfortunately, the paint bucket is broken and the road got the color. Now, removing this paint from the public road, who's responsible? Contractor or employer? What are you all thinking? You can't go and ask the money from the employer, right? That's what it says. Hold the employer harmless from your. So that's what it says. Okay. Against from all damages, losses, and expenses, including legal fees or expenses resulting from the transport of goods, and shall negotiate and pay claims arising from their transport. All of you go to the subclause 4.17. Okay. 4.17 contractor equipment. The contractor shall be responsible for all contractor equipment when brought onto the site. Contractor equipment shall be deemed to be exclusively intended for the execution of the work. Contractor shall not remove from the site any major item, of the contractor equipment without the consent of the engineer. However, consent shall not be required for vehicle, transporting goods or contractor personnel offsite. That means if you are bringing the goods and all, you don't need the permission. Okay, but a permanent item that you intended for the use, like a tower crane, you can't just move without the employer permission. But such as any transporting vehicle which is bringing the materials on site, okay, you don't need the permission them to leave. Okay, so this is your rights. Do you understand? So this again connected with the material. Okay. All of you go to the subclause 4.2 21C. The 21C progress report. I think we discussed this subclause before also under the report. Anyhow, for the manufacture of each main item of the plant and material, the name of the manufacturer, manufacturer location, percentage progress, and the actual or expected dates of the commencement and manufacture, contractor inspection, test and shipment, and arrival at site. Now, such as quality assurance document. Okay. Now look at this. Sometimes you have to pay material offsite which is not on the way. It is in the factory, like a long lead item. Give me example for long lead item. Any example for long lead item? A lift, yeah, transformer, very good.
Ventilation system.
Yes.
Panels deep distribution board SNDB.
The bigger one. Okay, yes, first is customized. Yes. So such as material offsite. Okay, if the employer agree, okay, I will pay for a material offsite, then yes, you have to provide all of these documents. So again, it is added responsibility for you. Okay. Now subclause 7.2 samples. All of you go to the subclause 7.2. Contractor says submit the following samples of materials and relevant information to the engineer for concern prior to using the material, okay, in or for the works. You understand? So yes, you should have the approval before you use them. That means if you are a consultant, before certify them, make sure that materials are approved by the engineer. Otherwise, you don't pay them. Do you understand? They say he brought the bricks, but it is not according to the contract. Engineer didn't give the approval. Then he come and for to get the material on site payment. You can't. So you should have the engineer up. If you are working for a consultant, be careful. Your responsibility is very high. And if you are working for a contractor, don't claim them because it is not good name for you. If the engineer reject and your company understanding that you don't know, you are not, you don't know how to claim properly which item you are entitled. Okay. Sometimes the contractor trying to claim more money and engineer always cutting the amount. So that won't be nice for your, reputation. And
But Mr. Munas, this clause has been used in a different way by many engineers. They are just requesting samples, and delaying the approvals, and every day new sample. So I believe this clause should be restricted to a specific times or a specific samples or it should be
that's
rephrased.
yeah, that's what it says in the FIDIC. Additional sample instructed by engineer as a variation. That means a variation.
Yeah, he will not
So
be.
one
He will not
sample,
admit that it's additional.
since we knows the FIDIC knows, okay, what they have done, they have clearly say, yes, you have to give the sample, but how many time? Okay, a sample is specified in the contract, all at the contractor cost. So you have to check how many time or how many, terms and condition for the sample in a particular condition. If it is very strictly you want to follow, then let's say you can give two sample. That's fine. Say you can't bring the sample of 100 material, like for example floor finishes. Okay, let's say you suggest one tile which is according to the specification. Yes, you can bring the sample for that one. Can you go and ask the tile supplier, okay, give me the 100 different sample? He will go
You
bankrupt
believe
easily.
me, in one big project, we bring 50 sample of tile, and by the end of that, he accepted to go to showroom. And after that, he went for 3-4 showrooms to select, and this consumed like 4 months delay. And the engineer said, no, you have to provide samples. And because you failed to provide the samples, we accepted to go to showroom.
then let's say if you have that kind of number in your massive project, then you have to price that one because it is not going to be a free of charge, right? Somebody have
No,
to
it's not
go and
mentioned in the
transfer.
contract. It's open. You like this only.
That's you have to have a strict procedure. Since all of you now listening, what is happening in this project? Okay, keep a very specific terms that defining this responsibility. Otherwise, it's going to be cost. And contractor not doing a charity here. He is also spending money and time. So that should be compensated. Okay, so additional sample here, it says very clearly FIDIC is reasonable. Instructed by the engineer, it should be treated as a variation. So it will go under the subclause 13. Each sample shall be labeled to origin and intended use in the work. So that's normal packaging detail. Now all of you go to the subclause 7.3. Now before I move, okay, I have to give you one note here. Now, let's say the engineer instructed the additional sample, but not confirm as a variation. What do you do now?
You should bring the additional sample and claim the variation. You should not delay.
If you want to claim the variation, you should have the engineer instruction. But he said, no, I will not give the engineer instruction as a variation. So what do you do now? Put the note, okay? Then it will be treated as a claim. Under the 7.2, put the scenario I said. If the engineer instructed additional sample and not confirm as a variation, okay, then this is going to be treated as a claim. Okay. Have you all note down? Okay. Now subclause 7.3, inspection. The employer personnel at all reasonable times have full access to all part of the site and to all places from which natural materials are being obtained. And during the production, manufacture and construction at site and elsewhere, okay, be entitled to examine, inspect, measure and test the material and workmanship and to check the progress of manufacture of plant and production of manufacture of material. Do you understand this subclause? Something adding some cost. What kind of cost be you have to carefully mention? Anyone?
The main cost to visit the factory or the place.
Factory may be in local or abroad, right? We don't know. If it is abroad, then you have to carefully look at the flight accommodation associated cost for to arrange that kind of factory visit. How many people are going to? Because you can't just bring their employer entire family, isn't it? You have to confirm how many people. Okay, if you want to have this kind of 7.3D subclause, you want to have the factory visit, how many people? Because you should limit the number. Let's say the factory is in America or Australia, right? You want to go from the Dubai. It's not an easy cost. Every single person will cost lots money. Do you understand? Yes. So that should be very clearly specified in the particular condition. Okay. So that is 7.3. 7.5. Rejection. Okay. Go to the paragraph 2. If the engineer regards this plan, material or workmanship to be retested, the test shall be repeated under the same terms and conditions. If the rejection and retesting cause the employer to incur additional cost, the contractor shall subject to employee claim. Okay. So it's all about rejection. Sometimes they can reject. Okay. And you will be getting the employee claim if the material not met the objective. Second, 7.6a, remedial works. Notwithstanding any previous test or certification, engineer may instruct the contractor to remove from the site and replace any plant or material which is not in accordance with the contract. So look at this. Previously test and certified also. He found out later it is not according to the contract. Then they can, okay, they can ask to replace you this item. So again, it is connected. So 7.7, ownership of plant and material. Each item of plant and material sale to the extent consistent with the laws of the country become the property of the employer at whichever is the earlier of the following times. Okay, free from lands and other encumbrances. When it is delivered to the site, when the contractor is entitled to payment of the value of the plant and material under subclause 8.10, payment and plant and material in even of suspension. Okay. So again, Remember during the suspension, okay, the one lecture series, we talk about suspension and termination. There we discuss about this. All the material, when the project suspended, okay, it become an employer property, employer must pay all of them. Subclause 8.10. All of you, go to the subclause 8.10. Payment for plant and material in event of suspension. The contractor shall be entitled to payment of the value as at the date of suspension of plant and material which have not been delivered to site. That means off-site material. Okay. The plant on, that means the work on plant or delivery of the plant and material has been suspended for more than 28 days. The contractor has marked the plant and as the employer property in accordance with the engineer instruction. Okay, so we go back to our place where we are stopping now. Plant and material. Okay, so the next class we will continue with the claims, and thereafter we will continue with the other part. So now claim already we have opened, but we didn't finish it yet. So we'll talk about the claims next subclause. Then we will try to finalize all the segment of this IPA or IPC. Okay, so today we're done with our lecture. Now, any question do you want to ask? Everything is clear so far, whatever we discussed?
So I have a small doubt.
Yeah.
So you said if the plant and materials was rejected and the engineer wants to retest the samples, it will be claimed for the contractor. But the thing is, it is failed because it's because of the contractor fault, right?
It's not like that. See, the initial test and commissioning, it is both party price them, right? Either contractor or consultant, they price that item. So there's no problem. Let's say that initial test is failed. Now it is contractor default. So contractor also will incur his cost because he can't claim because it is his fault. But now engineer also will come and do the retesting. No, they have to allocate. So there may be some delays to the project. So engineer will be paid by the employer. So how he is going to recover this cost? Right. So this kind of things, okay, become an employer claim. Assume that there are specialist consultant need to bring to the site in order to do the retesting. Every visit he will charge. So who's going to bear this cost? So that's the reason. Okay, if retesting come, okay, you have to expect the employee claim. But again, as the contractor, you just don't pay if he writes the claim. You have to ask for the record, right? How much he incurred, evidence of payment, or that incurred cost. You understood?
Okay, sir, understood.
Yes. You need to prove that. Yes. Okay then. So good night to everyone. If any question, you can ask next class also. I think we had extra time today. So see you all with the next lecture. Good night to everyone.